Hello folks, Simon here, welcome back to the channel. You know, I thought I was done for the day. I was just about to pack up, having been working on some other video projects, and then the official PlayStation blog goes ahead and unleashes some awesome new Final Fantasy VII Remake screenshots upon us. So I thought, got to react to these before calling it quits until tomorrow. So some of this stuff, you know, we've already seen from the trailers, but there is some new stuff here as far as I can tell as well, and hopefully you guys will enjoy this. So we're going to start, we get to see some images here of the party members in action. We're getting to see a lot of Red 13 now. Some of these images we have seen before. This shot is obviously from the trailer. We hadn't seen Red 13, had we, for really the longest time. A lot of people getting worried he wasn't even going to be included in the remake, due to the fact that the remake will be ending, as far as the original game's concerned, shortly after Red 13 was then recruited. So obviously he is in the game, and I've got to say he looks great. Here we have a high definition image of him, at least one I thought was high definition. Yeah, there we go. You can see all the details in his hair, his fur rather. He looks fantastic. I do like the look of Red 13, even more so I think than in Advent Children. Right then, so you can go through this yourself. I'll leave a link to the PlayStation blog article in the description if you want to read through it. I just want to quickly go through some of the images here. Got this screenshot of Hojo from the trailer, and it's great to see. It looks like Hojo is going to be taking a far more prominent role in the early parts of the narrative here than he did in the original game. And then we get some images of screenshot, which I'm sure, images of Tifa, screenshots of Tifa, which I'm sure many of you folks will be happy to see in battle here. And looks like we're in the train tunnels. We actually get an environmental shot of the train tunnels a little bit later on. And an image here of Tifa against Apps, which is very interesting. Then we have some screenshots of Aerith along with some of the weapons she's going to be using. We've already seen, I think, the striking staff in action, which is one of the pivotal weapons from the original game that you could steal early on to give Aerith a big power boost. And then, of course, we have Cloud himself. Cloud using what looks to be the nail bat here, which is really, really awesome. The nail bat was a weapon you could get in the original Final Fantasy VII. I don't exactly remember what it looked like, but I don't think it looked quite like this. But this is pretty funny, I've got to be honest with you. A big replacement, of course, to that Buster Sword that is such an iconic weapon for Cloud. To just put that down, pick up a bat with nails hammered in it is, you might see that as a bit of a downgrade, but Cloud has other ideas here. And this variety of weapons that we're going to be getting to use in the remake is something I'm very much looking forward to, to trying out. And here we get something new. This is a screenshot here that's simply titled Mercenary Quest. And I'll just read a bit of the text here from the blog that says, Cloud can help out the many people across Midgar, including local merchants. These tasks are varied. He'll be asked to deal with anything from taking out troublesome monsters to finding lost cats. Now, I think this is going to be something that brings perhaps a mixed reaction from the fans, because clearly here we've got the side quest system that's being implemented into the game, and we knew there was going to be some kind of side quest system in the remake that didn't exist in the original Final Fantasy VII, because of the fact that the whole of the Midgar portion of the original game is being expanded into its own full game here. And for me, I'm actually quite excited by this. Even though it's not been confirmed, I've long understood the actions of the developers here to be that Midgar is going to become an open world game in and of itself. That hasn't been confirmed. We've just been told that Midgar is going to be a full-fledged game. But I'm thinking that's going to be an open world game. And I'm thinking the side quest system, the mercenary system as it's called here, is really playing into that fact that we're going to be able to travel around, speak to NPCs, pick up quests off them. But a lot of people, I'm looking forward to that, but a lot of people have been complaining that the fact that the game, that Midgar's being fully fleshed out into a full game, simply means that it's just going to be filled with a load of rubbish that nobody really cares about. Now, I'm not by any stretch of the imagination saying that these side quests indicate that, but I think it is going to play into that kind of mentality, that there's just going to be a lot of fluff added to the original game that didn't need to be there, but is now being put in just to make the game sell as a full game experience. So I'd be interested in hearing your thoughts on this. Personally, it's no surprise to me that we're getting something like this system implemented. For me, I just want to explore Midgar, and if that means helping people to clear rats out, then I'm happy to do that. At the end of the day, we did that in Final Fantasy XII, and I love that game, so who's to say it's not going to work here. It looks like the game as well, we can see from this screenshot, is going to be split into several chapters. So we can see this chapter is chapter 3, and I'm guessing that's the chapter of the game here, rather than just the chapter of side quests, which is called Home Sweet Slum. And it looks like there's going to be 6 side quests in total that we can unlock there. And I guess as we go ahead and unlock or proceed into further chapters of the game, then different sets of side quests are going to be available. What's also interesting is this little interface icon here. It looks like the circles that are lit up. Now, that might be to do with the difficulty, which is what I'm assuming it is, but it could also be to do with how many stages there are to that side quest. But as I say, I'm assuming that's to do with the difficulty. So if you're just early on in chapter 3 and, you've unlocked this 5-circled side quest here, that's probably one to be leaving until a little bit later on. But yeah, looking forward to getting into all of the endgame stuff as well for the Final Fantasy VII Remake. I'm sure there's going to be a lot that's not going to have been in the original game, which we don't even yet know about as well. And we've got some images here of the side quests in action, such as this screenshot here showing Cloud completing, or the party rather, completing the side quest known as Nuisance in the factory. And you get 500 gil and a fully restored party for your trouble. And then we've got this other quest up here, Just Flew In from the Graveyard, which I'm also assuming is going to be a side quest based on the fact it is also coloured green, just as the text down here is coloured green. So that's probably going to be distinguishing the side quests from the main scenario quest. And yeah, I'm looking forward to getting into this system, to be honest with you. It does have that Final Fantasy 15 feel to it, doesn't it, in some degree, you know, picking up side quests and hunts and what have you, which I know not everybody loved Final Fantasy 15, but I'm hoping what they've done here is taken some of the good bits from 15 and then just improved upon it for the Final Fantasy 7 Remake. We had a similar system, as I said, in Final Fantasy 12. People seem to love it in that game, so, you know, it can work or it could not work depending on which examples we look at. Right then, so we also have the battle report here. This looks like something we can do by speaking to this particular NPC here. It's an interesting location, first of all, here, I assume in the slums. We've got this sign up here saying security on patrol, and then indeed we do have, you know, these security, I'm assuming security, plainclothes security officers just walking around with guns here, protecting something or other. Anyway, if we just head over to this next screenshot, we can see the battle intel in action. So I'm assuming this is like some kind of side quest system where we can go around and fight monsters in order to learn more about them. Maybe like a bestiary of some kind where we can continue to add to the intel as we fight more monsters. We can see that there's various conditions associated with assessing different types of enemies, and as we do so we continue to unlock further rewards such as materia, in this case auto cure materia. I'm not sure exactly what that is, obviously by the name, some kind of automatic form of the cure materia, but that wasn't in the original, and we can see our progress and track our progress here from the intel window. So yeah, not exactly sure what this is about. This seems to be something new to the game that we haven't seen before, but I'm looking forward to unlocking that. Seems we unlock it fairly early on, 31 minutes into the game, and you know, this particular player has already done so. And then we have some of the summons shown to us for the first time. Now, we have seen some summons already, but not these ones. So here we have the Choco, or the Chocobo Chick. And the Chocobo Chick, if you've been following along with the development of the game, is available to those who pre-order any edition of the Final Fantasy VII Remake. So yeah, as long as you've pre-ordered the game, then you'll gain access to the Chocobo Chick, which, yeah, first time we've seen it, looks pretty cool, looks pretty cute. I'm sure a lot of you will be fans of the Choco Chick here. And if we just scroll down, we can see Carbuncle. So Carbuncle is the summon that's become a little bit controversial in Final Fantasy VII Remake, because it's only available for those of you that pre-purchase the deluxe edition. But here's the thing, it's only available if you pre-purchase the digital deluxe edition off the PlayStation Store. Now, if you purchase the physical deluxe edition, for whatever reason, Square have decided, nah, you're not getting Carbuncle. However, you can get Carbuncle if you pre-purchase the $300 First Class Soldier physical edition of the game, just not the physical deluxe edition. Strange decision in my opinion, and it's still something that's worth mentioning from time to time, just so people don't get disappointed if they assume they're going to get this and they're not. But here we can see Carbuncle in action. It looks like he's going to work differently than he did in Final Fantasy 15. In fact, the whole summon system is a lot different to the summon system in Final Fantasy 15, which I think is a good thing. But in that game, Carbuncle was limited only to the easy mode, and he would pretty much just stop your party from getting a game over. Here, he seems to work as a traditional summon. He has the rise and fall ability. Possibly he's going to cast Reflect. Maybe that tends to be what Carbuncle often does in Final Fantasy. We don't know exactly yet, but there we can see him in action for the first time. And finally, we have the Katsura summon. So I think Katsura looks great here, I've got to be honest with you. Obviously, he looks pretty much identical to how we know Katsura from the other Final Fantasy games, excluding Final Fantasy 12. Took a different approach there with the Katsura design. But very much similar to the Final Fantasy 7 Katsura, and he is no doubt casting his 1,000 Needles attack here on... Hey, that's the Hedgehog enemy, I believe. The Hedgehog Pie, I believe it was called in the original Final Fantasy 7, and we get to see Katsura stabbing him to death there. So Katsura is available to anybody that pre-orders the Deluxe Edition, Digital Deluxe Edition, or First Class editions of the game. And then finally we get to see some kind of panned out screenshots of some of the environments that we've already seen in the trailers. So this is the area in the Mako Reactor, I believe, where we fight the Guard Scorpion and where we set the first bomb. So to have that screenshot there, just to see that area, is awesome. I'll tell you what, the environments, in fact all of the designs, characters, environments, enemies, arts, just everything has really shaped up into something special, I think, for the remake. And here we have the train tunnels, another iconic location from the original game. So we get to see, you know, all of the extra detail involved there. This is going to be playing a heavy role, I think, in the remake. We get some shots of this in the trailer where, you know, we're all on bikes, and we have that new soldier character, Roach, I think he's called, introduced here in the train tunnels as well. And that pretty much brings us to the end. Now, one thing that is noted here is that the tunnel connects the slum streets to the living areas on top of Midgar plates, which makes me think a lot of people have been wondering about this, that we'll actually really get to explore the top of the Midgar plates, something we never really got to do in the original game. So that'd be awesome if we can. With Midgar, as I say, hoping, you know, I'm hoping it's going to be an open world location at some point as we go ahead and unlock that during the game. I'm hoping that doesn't just mean under the plate, but also on top of the plate as well, getting that tremendous contrast between those that are living in the slums and those that are living the high life. Probably, you know, those that are working at Shinra and what have you, living on the top. Maybe putting their heads in the sand, especially because, you know, they're going to have families of their own and stuff from those who are really suffering underneath. So that would be a wonderful thing to be able to explore as well. And maybe these train tunnels will be that connecting section between them. But there we have it then, guys. A nice selection of new screenshots here. Have they got you excited about anything in the game that you didn't really think of before? Maybe some of the new summons, maybe some of the new weapons that are going to be introduced in the game, and just those weapons from the original that are going to be reimagined in the remake. What do you think of some of these new features like the mercenary system here and the battle report that we have seen for the first time now here? Personally, you know, we've only got glimpses of these, so I'm excited to see more. But yeah, as always, interested in hearing your thoughts. But there we have it then, guys. If you're interested in more Final Fantasy VII Remake news, then make sure you stay tuned to the channel, because as and when that becomes available, I will share that with you as soon as I'm able. But thanks for stopping by today, checking out the content. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.